You are listening to Choose the Future today on the Timothy E. Baker podcast. Tune in as we shape the future of tomorrow today. And welcome back. My name is Timothy Baker on the Timothy E. Baker podcast. Choose the Future today. And on this week's headlines, get a hold of yourself already, would you? What we're going to talk about this week is emotional resilience versus emotional stability. Why I'm bringing this topic up is because it seems to be that, I guess, for the last week or two, across the podcast or personal development and motivational spaces, I'm hearing a lot about emotional resilience. And it's great. I mean, we want to have emotional resilience when we want to be able to get through tough times. But I think that there is something that's getting overlooked and not really getting discussed in some of the discussions that are going on out there. So I figured let's take a couple moments and put this as the topic of our week. And don't forget, on Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you'll be able to interact as I go live, just to give some final weekend thoughts and feelings on feedback, or allow you also to chime in with live feedback. But first off, let's start off with what is emotional resilience. First, it's not your emotional quotient. Your emotional quotient is the ability to recognize and understand and manage your own emotions while effectively navigating and responding to the emotions of others. So, emotional resilience is the capacity to adapt, recover, and stay grounded in the face of stress, adversity, and unexpected change. So that brings us to emotional stability. What is emotional stability? Well, that is the ability to maintain steady, grounded thoughts and behaviors by keeping your emotions balanced and consistent, even when circumstances shift around you. So, what's the big difference between those two? Emotional resilience is about the capacity to adapt and recover, whereas emotional stability is about the ability to maintain steady, grounded thoughts and behaviors. That's really what's going to help you get through when you have some tough times. You look at people in the Bible that have gone through some tough times, and where they still sat in prison with joy was because they had emotional stability. And to be quite honest with you, folks, that's one of the biggest things I've been working on myself for the last couple of years. Because as I transitioned from marriage and now being a supportive single father that gets my kids every couple of weeks, I wanted to make sure that I was providing the right modeling for them that hopefully will benefit them in their relationships as they grow older. And I know I wasn't doing that before. There was a lot of frustration and anger that was built up over the several years in that marriage. And unfortunately, it led to the failure of that marriage. But, it takes two people to tango. It's not just one person's situation by any means. So, as far as the kids, I think the biggest thing that I can walk away from that situation is understanding where can I better improve myself to be a better father and a better role model. And then more importantly, be a better steward for God in his community as we're all building his community and his kingdom. Now, when you look at the three situations I mentioned, the emotional quotient, your EQ, your emotional resilience, your ER, or your emotional stability, ES, I would pose to you, which is the most important to you and why? Have you ever thought about this? I mean, it's not something that typically we go around talking about, but in today's world, where we have so much turmoil, so many conflicting situations, not only in our homes, but in our workplaces and in our communities and churches. It's very difficult sometimes to emotionally balance ourselves to process how to get through some of those situations. Now, I'm going to reference Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. What that's saying to me, or what I'm taking away from that, is regardless of all the challenges, all the weight that's bearing down on us at times, that our focus is what's ahead. And we need to maintain our mental grounding to be able to forge ahead and actually grow and reach that end goal that we're striving for. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it takes a long time. And I've been on many of them that take a really long, long time, but it's always been worth the effort and the time waited. I'm also going to reference Deuteronomy 32:11. As an eagle stirs up its nest, hovers over its young, spreading out its wings and taking them up, carrying them on its wings. What I got from that is actually the first part, as an eagle stirs up its nest. You know, the eagle had to do something to provoke these birds to move. And I think that's often what God does to us. He puts us in situations because maybe we're either headed down the wrong path or we've become complacent. But I think that's exactly what God does. Is He stirs us with provoking and challenging situations to help us get on track with where we're supposed to be. Because remember, our purpose is all about building the kingdom of God and helping share the word of Jesus Christ. How we go about that is how we live in this world of Satan's. That's what your job is or what you do in your community. I mention this because that's probably one of the biggest things that helped me feel much more confident as I move through any situation, is understanding what my purpose is. We're always asking that question. But you know what? The Bible said very clearly, your purpose is to bring others to Jesus. How we do that is what we do here on this planet. So if you find your purpose in how you're doing it, well, that's not your purpose. So that's something I invite you to think through, and I would love to hear some comments on how you feel about that. But along with that, fear and cowardice come from the devil. They are tools to separate us from God, and that's sometimes where when the nest is getting stirred, we've got those times of fear, or like when they were in the boat and the waves were chopping. We have to be able to lean into God and trust that He's got us in His hands, and His will be done for the best of the kingdom. I will also reference 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. Now, that goes into understanding we are being shaped as part of His plan with intention and purpose. Every season, every trial is a moment of growth, forming us into who He has designed us to be. It's up to us to become that. So that's what we're all about. Choose the future today, shaping the future of tomorrow today. Let me finish with James 1:4. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. And we always think, well, lacking nothing, that must mean we must be rich and we have all these things. No, I've actually felt probably some of the most content when I've had the least amount of stuff and the least lowest income sometimes. It's because I'm not being distracted by worldliness. My mind isn't being cluttered by the traps of this world. I'm able to embrace what I have, be appreciative of what I have, and thank God for what I have. And I hope that that's how you can live your life. And if you're a father or a mother or a leader of the young folks out there, that you're a good model for those folks as well, as I strive to do that every day and try to get better every day so I can turn my sins into wins and become the best version of myself. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope that you'll share and follow us, and I look forward to maybe seeing you on Thursday when we talk about this live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for tuning in to the Timothy E. Baker podcast. Make sure to check our website out, choosethefuturetoday.com, for more great information and resources.